man, that poor license plate is going to get destroyed down there. But if I try to use the bottom holes, it sticks up too far and I can't open the bonnet. So much rather destroy the license plate than scratch up my bonnet, I'll tell you that. Alright, welcome back everybody. Well, first drive is in the books. Now I've got to take care of some odds and ends, gas gauge, the blinker signal thing isn't working on the dash, things like that. So just those little things that keep on going. So thanks for watching. So I discussed at length in my last video the registration process and my fears and all that kind of stuff. So I went back Thursday to get my tags. Wasn't really concerned at all about that because I already had the temporary registration, kind of like whole, 9/10 ownership is 9/10 of law kind of thing. So I was confident that I would get them. But curiously, the gentleman that was in front of me in line, I happened to be sitting right where the registration line was. I could overhear the conversation, and the lady turned him away because his car was not on the list of approved manufacturers, and that he had to get it towed up to that one inspection station in the state and have it safety inspected. So, like I had mentioned, I don't know if the lady behind the counter last Thursday did me a solid and hooked me up, or if she just didn't feel like looking into it or what, I don't know, or maybe the Triumph motorcycle was good enough for her and she figured that was close enough. The lady behind the counter talking to this gentleman that was ahead of me, she tried very hard to say, if you know another manufacturer that might have made this car or they've changed names or something like that. So probably, frankly, the guy could have lied and went, oh yeah, it's now this company, and picked the company off the thing. It sounded like she would have accepted that, but who knows. So just I was shaking a little bit when I got up to the registration, but she just asked me, do you want classic car tags for that? And I said, yes, of course. So Dorothy's all good to go, at least for the next 3 years. Unfortunately, one thing I forgot to do was drill holes in the rear valance. Remember, if you remember, this is a new rear valance. Drill any holes at all for the license plate in there. And so probably not going to do that right now, but I am going to mark it out and see where it goes. Just try to center it up and drop it low enough that the light there gets most of it and all that kind of good stuff. But I'll drill it the next time I'm over here. Unfortunately, only here for about an hour tonight. So not much to it here. It's a nice flat space. So I'm just going to center it up, and right about in here, the flat portion and the rear valance are kind of flush. So I think I'm going to essentially line the license plate up with about that area. That gives me a little bit of a relief from the top here. And about 4 centimeters from the ridge right here. Just can barely see that, this ridge. And then center it right to get the 2 holes in the plate, so I've got to worry about centering the plate up. And then get that all centered up and measure that and do all that and mark the holes. And it's like hanging a painting at your house or a picture. And I suck at that. Ask my wife. So I held the plate up here like this. Made a little dot in the one spot, checked the level of it, made another dot in the other spot, and now that's all good. So these holes, I'll see how big they are. I'm going to go a little bit bigger than that just to give me a little bit of wiggle room. And I'm going to do some sort of grommet or that weather stripping stuff or something around here, just so it, when it makes contact with the paint there, it's scratch protected a little bit. So I've got the 2 marks, like I said. I'm going to start with a really small pilot hole, and then put a piece of tape over top, and then continue on getting a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. And obviously my biggest concern here is scratching the paint, or chipping, I should say, the paint, and I don't expect to have too much luck. Also, when it is all done, before I put the plate on there for good, I'm also going to epoxy it. All right, a little spring-loaded thing here just to kind of get it going. And this is going to kill me because it's going to scratch. All right, so real slow. Alright, it's actually holding up better than I thought it would. So now I'll put the piece of tape over top of it. And all I'm trying to do here is just prevent the paint from chipping too much. I don't even know if it's going to work. I think I've tried this before and it didn't really work all that well. Punch the hole with the drill bit back through. Alright, slowly work my way up drill bit size. Very little pressure. All right, do a quick little reality check here just to make sure that it looks like it's still coming in pretty centered. So if anything, I'll drill out the holes in the license plate bigger before I drill out the holes in the car bigger. But yeah, I'm off a little bit. All right, last hole. This is the big one. This should get it big enough to fit. All right, take the tape off. Not too bad. All right, clean it up here real quick. Size it up and see how close I got with the holes. All right, so the spare tire's in the way, but that looks like it's going to work out just fine. So we'll call that good for now. I don't have enough time to mix up a little bit of epoxy and let it cure or let it set up. So next trip over here, I'll get the epoxy on there so that I don't get any rust. Figure out some rubber grommet deal. I'll bring this license plate with me to Ace Hardware or True Value, whatever I got over here, and take a look and see what kind of solution, if any, that I want there. So there you go. Now the saga with the brake hose still continues. It's still leaking. I guess there are one of two choices: rebuild the brake calipers I got over there, which I want to do anyway, so I can look at doing that. And the other option is to get a whole new cable and a brand new set of washers and everything. And I'm going to go down that route, I think, as well. It'll give me spares and everything, and I don't know what else to do. It's definitely coming from that union there, and not. I don't think it's the calipers being where I split them. I don't think it's coming from there. So not cool, but you do what you do. Got the license plate holes with just a little bit of primer on them. Letting them dry here for a little bit. I'll put another 1 or 2 coats on it just to get those thing, and then I'll be ready to go with the license plate mounting. Looking at the gas tank, it appears inside, as best as I can look, it appears that I'm below the level of the float there, so I guess this is going to be a one way to find out kind of thing. But I'm going to take the float out and see if I can figure out if it's got a hole in it or whatever. It doesn't seem like it's being inhibited in movement, so I don't think it's hanging up anywhere or anything like that, but I'm not positive, so I'll get this thing out and do some testing. So there's a very little bit of fluid in there. Definitely not enough, in my opinion, to cause it not to operate. So I'm going to play with it a little bit, see maybe if I can lubricate it in some way or loosen it up or something. Put this, it looks like this float will just kind of pop off of here. I'll be able to stick that in a bucket of water and see if I get any bubbles or anything like that. But I don't see anything obvious that would cause this not to operate. I got the gas gauge, or the sending unit, set up to the ohm meter there, and when the fuel level would be all the way low, like it would be here, try to get the glare out of the screen there, the ohm meter shows an overload, then that would be empty, and then as you increase and the gas level would go up, you could see the resistance rises. So with a rising, or excuse me, lowers. So with a lowering resistance, as you get all the way up to full, which is right about there, it's about 13 ohms or so, and that means that the car is full. So again, seems to operate pretty smoothly, but let's see what's up. Electrically, I know it's good. All right, got the float hanging in this, floating in this thing of water here. Unfortunately, I don't have a real clear cup to show you, but I'm just going to push down on it, see if I get any bubbles anywhere. Squeeze on it a little bit, see if I can force any air out of there. Alright, well, it definitely doesn't appear to be stuck anywhere, or leaking. Next issue. Keep troubleshooting. Alright, so in the deep sink here, I just have this big vat of water, and I'm going to just push down on the sending unit, and the float should obviously not allow it to go underwater, and then it should actuate this arm here. So as I press down, you would expect to see the float stay on the top of the water and nothing move. I don't know how well this is going to show on camera, but so you can see I'm not really pushing down that hard. It seems to work just fine until it hits the stop down here. So I wouldn't say that I've got any issues here. I don't know what's going on inside the gas tank. I'll see if I can take a look in there. I don't know. One thing I did notice was that the float will only, well, obviously can be directional, so it either sticks out that way or sticks out this way.
So maybe when I took it off, it was sticking in. So maybe it's hanging up in some way when it gets in there and sliding against the side of the tank or something like that, and not letting it come all the way up. That's there's little reliefs in the tank, little structural reliefs, so maybe it was rubbing against that. So hopefully here we might get lucky. All right, so I have a spare gas tank here because, you know, why wouldn't you just have a spare gas tank hanging around? And I put the float in and changed the direction of the floats, and sure enough, with it the way that it was in the car, before I just took it out, the float is definitely rubbing here as it comes up. So I stuck this the little feeler thing in here and lifted it up and down, and I could feel it rubbing. Didn't feel it the last time I did it. I don't know why I didn't inside the car. But so I'll take the sender out, flop the float around, plug it back in the car, and it should be working. All right, so we got some gas here. I think it's fixed. We're going to go ahead and dump some gas in and see if we get some deflection, at least beyond where we were. All right, well, put some gas in it. I would say there's got to be about a half a tank in there, but it's, the resistance of the gas sender is changing, that's for sure. So I don't know, just doesn't seem to be responding where I would expect it to. Seems like there's more than a quarter of a tank. Just by eyeballing it, it seems like there's more than a quarter of a tank in here. But I don't know. I've never filled the thing up. That being said, I don't think it would indicate above a quarter of a tank before, and it is slow, so maybe it'll coast up a little bit as time goes on. But so I'm going to say hesitantly that it's fixed, but a little more to follow when I can actually have enough gas to fill the thing up. I think it only takes like 8 gallons. All right, on to something else. I think the next thing is I don't believe my turn signal indicator's been working. Nope, that's not working. So we'll see if we can track that down. All right, so the turn signal indicator works now. It was simply that the bulb had popped out, and the fan switch is a little dicey. That's not original switch. I think I might have one somewhere. And the fan just sounds horrible. So I don't know if that's normal or not, but there's nothing really in there that it's rubbing against. I think it's just the fan. So I don't really plan on using that a whole lot, but at least it works. So that's got to put the boot back together, but that's about it as far as the little odds and ends, except for the brakes. So I put rubber grommets on the license plates just to provide some cushion there. And you can see that I also got that, whatever that stuff is called, that weather stripping stuff, just around to protect the paint. So I'm going to go ahead, put the license plate on, and get going. Another thing I forgot was to put the little rubber shims in there between the cross member support and the bonnet. And really all you got to do is kind of push out a little bit on the bonnet, just flex the metal and slide that in there, and then the flex of it tightens it back up. So that will hopefully, might take a little bit of the rattling, I doubt it, but who knows. Alright, but that's all I got. Thanks so much for watching. Leave a comment below, tell me what you think. All that stuff hopefully is taken care of. I still got to fill the gas tank all the way up and see if that's going to cure my fuel sender problem. I don't know, so we'll see. But she's legal. Cheers.